What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a full quest guide on how to obtain the Lumina exotic in Destiny 2. We'll break down all of the quest steps, everything you're going to need to know, all of the locations that you'll need to know, and generally some tips for getting this exotic quest done relatively quickly. It is a bit of an investment, but we'll cover it all in this video, as well as a brief look at the weapon. So guys, if you enjoy it, a rating below really helps me out, but now let's get straight into it. So before we talk about the quest itself, let's take a look at Lumina right here. It comes with noble rounds, kills with this weapon, leave behind remnants, and absorbing a remnant converts your next hip-fired shot into an ally-seeking noble round and partially refills the magazine. The second unique perk is Blessing of the Sky. Using a noble round on an ally heals them and grants both you and them a weapon damage bonus for a short time. And so right here, I actually pick up some noble rounds in the weapon. You can see my teammate spawns in, and the tracking on these noble rounds is really cool. It's kind of hyper-aggressive tracking. You can stack noble rounds up, and then by firing multiple rounds, you can kind of stack up the amount of time that the buff is going to last for. And in terms of the weapon damage bonus that you get, it's actually a 35% weapon damage increase, so definitely isn't trivial, especially with the healing ability and the weapon damage buff. The fact that it's slowly reloading rounds back into the mag, I think it's going to be a fairly potent weapon, especially in the right kinds of content, right? So that's kind of a brief look at how Lumina works, but in terms of a more in-depth review, of course you can check out all of the usual channels for that stuff. Now, let's break down how you actually acquire this thing. So initially, you will have to go to the European Dead Zone. It's the same exact location as we went to pick up the Thorn quest. And so you may know where that is. If you don't, I will run that clip at the end of the video and I'll timestamp it down below so that you know the actual location that you need to go to. Either way, open the chest on the cliff edge in European Dead Zone, and this is the area above the salt mine, and you'll get the Fateful Gift quest. There'll actually be a legendary part that comes alongside this called the System Positioning Device, and this is going to give you a clue as to the location of a chest that you'll need to open to actually get the Rose Hand Cannon. So for us, it's Shaft 13 in the European Dead Zone, and that's over here in the sludge, but this can be in a number of different locations. Because this is changing constantly, we don't have all of those locations right now, but the positioning device will always give you the actual name of a lost sector that you'll need to find on a particular planet, so of course you can look that up. And when you find the appropriate chest, for us it was in Shaft 13 in EDZ, you will get the Bearer of Evil's Past quest step. And here, you need to generate Orbs of Light. You will need 250 of them. The best way we found to do it is to actually head to Blind Well, as you can generate a bunch of orbs very easily there. Once you've done this quest step, you will get the Rose Hand Cannon, and at the same time, you're going to get 3 other particular quest steps which are kind of perk bounties that you need to complete to upgrade the weapon. So you'll get the Rose Revealed quest step, and of course you'll get the legendary Rose Hand Cannon, and then there are 3 different objectives that you'll have to complete. So Band Together requires you to complete a Nightfall with a score of 50,000 points or higher, and so you can do any Nightfall that you like, and with a reasonable handicap with most modifiers, you will get that 50k pretty easily. Face the Hordes requires you to complete encounters at the Blind Well at any of the Black Armory forges or in Escalation Protocol. Now we decided to go into Blind Well. We got a little bit unlucky actually because nobody match made into our instance for a really long time. However, running heroic Blind Well runs, if you can get a full fire team and a bunch of people there, is going to get this quest step done relatively quickly, and the 35 individual encounters that it talks about are sections of activities, so a particular wave in Blind Well for example. On top of this, the third step is Defend the Light, where you need to defeat multiple enemy combatants in a row without reloading your weapon. Of course, Huckleberry, Risk Runner, things like that are going to be really good, even Thorn. And honestly, in the time that you're going to spend in Blind Well and in the Nightfall, you'll get plenty of multi-kills or streaks without actually reloading, so that step isn't too bad. These can take a little while, but once you've got it done, you'll get a step called Fire Team Leader, where you need to complete activities throughout the solar system. And you do need to do these activities with Rose equipped. Whenever you fight in a fire team with other Rose wielders, you'll get more progress. Now things like Lost Sectors, kind of planetary activities, don't tend to work. And the top things that people are doing is either running Menagerie with as many players as possible with Rose. If you have 6 players, a normal Menagerie run will give you 35%. We actually only had 5 when we did ours and we got 25% per run, so it's a pretty big jump. And Nightfall with 3 players with Rose will give you 12% per run, and obviously if you're running it solo and you don't necessarily have other players that have Rose equipped as well, then it will take a little bit longer, so if it's something you could do, maybe try an LFG, look for players who are also doing the quest. That's of course if you don't have a fire team of your own. And once you've run the activities, you'll get a quest step called Strength in Numbers, and this is where a little bit of Gambit and potentially some Crucible is going to be required. Now you need to generate Orbs of Light, And of course you'll get those while you're playing in activities in general doing this. But a quick trip to Leviathan with a fire team, if you go to the Castellum on the original Leviathan, that's actually a pretty good place to just farm enemies continuously. So definitely think about that, and with the fire team of course you can borrow each other's orbs and stuff. You do need to get final blows on Guardians. Now, this can be Guardians in Gambit, it could be Guardians in the Crucible. Playing with the fire team definitely helps. I jumped into the Crucible, I was running Not Forgotten, Thorn, even Rose. And in our fire team, it took about 2 games to get it done. But of course, if you're playing solo, it might take a little bit longer. And then there are invasions denied. And basically, to get this to trigger, you have to kill an invader in a Gambit match before they kill anyone on your team. Luckily, we found a team who were actually working on the quest as well, and they were willing to kind of trade kills with us, so we basically got all of those invasions done for everyone on each of our teams. Maybe something to consider if you find a really friendly team that might help you out. But it was particularly lucky for me because it actually took me 3 attempts, so I killed 3 players before the invasions denied section ticked. That is worth bearing in mind, it could be a little bit buggy. This step will potentially take a little while, but once it's done, we are finally on the final step of the quest, and we have to reclaim light from Hive crystals in the Will of the Thousand strike, as well as defeat Zol. And you can do this in the normal version of the strike on the Director, so it's not a specific version or a Nightfall or anything like that, although I believe a Nightfall does actually work. And I pointed out the other day that there are something like 47 crystals inside of this strike, but of course, you only actually need to get 11. So if you load into Will of the Thousands, easiest thing to do is go to the first area. Definitely clear out all of the ads, it'll just make things less complicated. Now the crystals you need to destroy are individual, so anyone in your fire team taking them out in their own game is not going to affect you. And equally, if you're running in a fire team with other players, you will need to take these crystals out in your own instance for them to count. So come to the Dynamo approach here, clear all the enemies out, and once you've done that, move up to the cliff on the left-hand side of this area, and simply follow the sequence of crystals that I destroy in the video right here. So right there, I've just taken out all 8 of the crystals in the Dynamo approach. Once you've got them, move into the next section in the Alton Dynamo, and there will be 3 that you can see immediately. So one on the left of this pillar, another one on the left of the next pillar down into the room, and then one on the right hand side. If you missed one or anything, don't worry too much. There are plenty of them throughout the strike, so to get 11, you could pretty much do it by just spotting them as you go. Now once you have all 11 of them, you can check the step as you go. You'll simply need to take out Zol, finish the strike, and when it's finished, the loot from the chest will drop first. It does take a second for the quest to complete, or at least it did for us, so if it takes a moment or something, don't panic, it should pop up. And there we go, we have Lumina, or Lumina. There definitely have been some comments about how exactly you should pronounce the name of this thing, but that is the new exotic in Destiny 2, and guys, I'd love to know down below if it's a weapon that you've been grinding for, whether it's something that interests you. Obviously, could be pretty interesting in stuff like the Crucible, Gambit as well. I feel like there will be a lot of places, high-end PvE stuff, where Lumina is really going to shine, so that's definitely interesting, and it's cool that it is kind of a parallel opposite of the Thorn in so many ways. There's some pretty cool lore and stuff attached, and of course, some of the unlocks and stuff throughout the quest actually grant new lore pieces, you may have noticed that, so that's pretty cool stuff. For now though guys, that is going to do it for a full breakdown of this quest, so I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, be sure to hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date with everything related to Destiny 2 right here on the channel. Let me know your thoughts about it as always, and a like below is very much appreciated if you have enjoyed the video. For now though, whatever you guys get up to, I hope that you have an awesome day.